1/3 of Americans aged 65 and older fall each year. Every 14 seconds, an older adult is treated in emergency from a fall. Every 29 minutes, an older adult dies from a fall-related injury. Falls are the leading cause of fatal injury and the most common cause of non-fatal trauma-related hospital admissions among older adults. Falls result in more than 2.4 million injuries treated in emergency rooms annually, including over 772,000 hospitalizations and more than 21,700 deaths. And here's a graph showing those numbers. So here's the injury from the falls, here's the number of hospitalizations, and here's the number of deaths. So you can see that there is quite an amount of injuries from falls. Assisted living facilities were developed to give families a better option. From experience, I know that assisted living facilities not only benefit the elderly family member, but it also benefits the family. I'm going to discuss why assisted living facilities are more beneficial to elders than in-home care, living in a nursing home, and living on their own without any help. So first, assisted living facilities are more beneficial to elders than in-home care. First of all, they are cheaper than in-home care. According to the U.S. national averages, the average monthly cost to have in-home care is $7,124, versus living in an assisted living facility, which is about $3,500. So as you can see, living in an assisted living facility is half as much as having in-home care. Assisted living facilities potentially provide a better quality of care than in-home care. They are regulated by the state and federal law, and versus in-home care agencies, which are not regulated by the state and federal law. Since they're not regulated by the state and federal law, it can potentially lead to elder abuse or neglect. Assisted living can be 24 hours if needed, whereas in-home care is not usually 24 hours, it's usually a couple hours at a time. Assisted living facilities have nurses and or caregivers at the facilities around the clock, which assures the family that their family member is safe at all times. Versus if the elderly family member lives at home, the family is constantly worrying about that family member, if he is safe or not. Assisted living facilities also offer a better social environment than living in home. When someone lives in an assisted living facility, there is more of a social experience and more of a social environment. Versus living at home, the elderly person is not around people that much, which can cause depression or they can feel isolated at times. Now that we have talked about why assisted living facilities are more beneficial than in-home care, let's move on to understand how they are more beneficial than a nursing home facility. Assisted living facilities are more beneficial than nursing home facilities. They offer more privacy than nursing home facilities, and they are typically private rooms or apartments, which provides people the feeling of independence. On the other hand, nursing homes normally have rooms which are not as private because nurses and aides are constantly in and out of their rooms throughout the day. And in nursing home facilities, there are usually 2 people or 3 people in a room, versus assisted living where it's you can live in a room by yourself. Assisted living facilities are much cheaper than nursing home facilities. They are less expensive because they are not usually 24-hour care, and they don't need assistance with everything usually. According to a company called A Place Vermont, an assisted living facility can cost approximately $2,714 per month. Assisted living facilities are not covered by insurance usually, but on the other hand, they are cheaper than a nursing home. Elderly people in an assisted living may receive better quality of care than in a nursing home. According to GuideToNursingHomes.com, aides are always on hand to help with tasks at an average aide-to-resident ratio of 1:8 during the day. Since I've worked in a nursing home facility in the past, I know that it can even be a higher ratio, and when I worked it was approximately 1:13. Now that we have talked about why assisted living facilities are more beneficial than nursing homes, let's move on to understand why they are more beneficial to elders than when they live at home without any help. There is a much greater risk for falls for an elderly person living at home than in assisted living facilities. In assisted livings, there is a lesser chance of someone falling because there are no rugs or stairs, and there are also nurses and aides around to help. From personal experience, I know this is true because my grandparents live alone on a farm, and my grandpa, who's 91, decided to go downstairs to switch the laundry, and he ended up falling and breaking his hip, which might not have happened if he was in a care environment such as an assisted living facility. One service assisted living facilities offer is help with medication reminders and distribution. If an elderly person is living at home and has dementia, that person may not remember to take their medication he is supposed to take. Putting an elderly family member in an assisted living facility can keep the family at ease. If the family member is home alone, the family is constantly worrying if he will fall or if he is safe. If you have an elderly family member that needs some assistance but does not need 24-hour assistance, I believe an assisted living facility is the best option for your family member. Today we have discussed why assisted living facilities are more beneficial than in-home care, nursing facilities, and living alone. Evidently, assisted living facilities are a safe alternative and are more cost efficient. If you are looking to keep your family member safe, you should strongly consider an assisted living facility.